Hey guys, it's Em. This week's sequence is one that I'm really excited about. This is one that's going to do a really good job of waking up your body, sort of getting your blood flowing, getting your air moving. This class does hit right around 20 minutes, so this is totally something you could do in the morning if you wanted to. This is something you could do in the middle of the day if you were taking a break from work, or it's just something you could do at home if you're bored like I am. Friendly reminders before we get started. Remember that this is all about you. This is all about what you are getting out of this practice. Okay, so make sure you're listening to your own body. You're doing what's best for you. And last but not least, guys, this is for fun. So remember, let yourself have fun, let yourself stretch, let yourself feel good. I'm gonna get ready to practice, so go ahead and grab a mat and an open space and let's get started. All right, everyone, we are going to start in an easy seat at the top of our mat. So I'm just sitting crisscross applesauce, but you can also sit in hero's pose on your knees or have your legs long out in front of you. Making sure that the shoulders are pressed down and away from the ears and your spine is tall. And from here, we're just going to start to integrate the breath into our practice, beginning to notice our inhales and our exhales. Not changing anything about it just yet, but just noticing how your breath is feeling today. And as you begin to become more familiar with how your breath is feeling today, you can go ahead and start to lengthen your inhales and your exhales, making sure to fill up in the belly when you're inhaling and to breathe out the nose when you are exhaling. Breathing in through the nose, filling up through the belly, breathing out through the nose, long and slow. Go ahead and just continue this deepened breathing for a couple more moments. And remember that if you feel like you're starting to lose focus or something might be particularly challenging for you today, your breath is always there for you and you can always come back to your breath. Let's go ahead and take a couple more moments here. When you're ready, you can find yourself in a tabletop position that's on your hands and knees. Wrists are under the shoulders and knees are under the hips. And we're just going to move into some simple cat-cows to wake the spine and the core up. We're going to inhale, drop our belly towards the floor, lift the crown of our head back and look up towards the ceiling for cow pose. And when you exhale, you can round your spine and look at the floor to feel a nice stretch in the back body, or cat pose. Inhaling, dropping the belly, lifting the head, cow pose. Exhaling, rounding the spine, dropping the head, cat pose. You can go ahead and continue this at your own pace, following your own breath for just a couple moments. You can play around with wiggling the hips. You can play around with finding a slight or deep bend in the arms. Whatever feels good in your body today. When your spine feels nice and warmed up, you can go ahead and just come back to a neutral tabletop. And we're going to go ahead and find a gaze that's just right in front of our yoga mat or right in front of our fingers. We do this so we can keep the spine long and the back of the neck long. So there's sort of like this long line of energy going from your tailbone or your sacrum all the way up to the crown of your head. Okay, from here we're going to curl the toes. So now we're in a tabletop with our toes curled on the mat. And we're just going to lift our knees off the ground an inch or two. Completely holding this tabletop with knees raised above the ground. It's important that you're not dumping into your shoulders, so make sure you're actively pushing away from the mat. And the reason for this part of practice is to really build internal heat in the body. So keeping the inhales and exhales deep and long, keeping them in and out through your nose, and keeping your entire body engaged in this pose is really what's going to help build internal heat for this practice. Just a couple more breaths here, you can do it. And on your last exhale, you can go ahead and push away from the mat, push your hips up and back, and come into your first downward facing dog. Since this is our first downward facing dog of practice, we'll go ahead and take a couple moments to walk the feet out maybe. You can nod the head yes or shake the head no if you want to feel a release in the neck. And always remember that you're actively pushing away from the mat with your hands and pressing your chest towards your thighs. And remember to breathe. From here, we're going to move into just a little mini sequence that targets both the core and the arms. So what's going to happen is when you inhale, you're going to roll out into a plank. When you exhale, you're going to lower down, but just halfway. And then when you inhale, you're going to come back up to plank. And then we're going to exhale back to downward facing dog. Before we do this a couple more times, I want to mention that if the plank and the low plank is something that's too challenging for you, you can always drop to your knees during this portion of this little miniature sequence. Okay, so we're just going to do that a couple more times, linking breath to movement about 4 more times. So go ahead and inhale, come into plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 more, we can do it. Inhale to plank pose. Exhale, low plank, stay strong. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. 1 more time, guys, we got this. Inhale to plank pose. Exhale to low plank. Inhale to high plank. And exhale to downward facing dog. Good job, everyone. Let's go ahead and take a breath here. Inhaling through the nose. And exhale. Awesome. Moving on to the next portion of practice now, running through some half sun salutation A's to get the whole body moving. We're going to inhale, look to the top of our mat. And exhale, walk our feet to our hands for a forward fold. You can go ahead and stay in this forward fold for just a couple breaths. You can bend the knees if you'd like. You can grab opposite elbows and swing back and forth if that feels good. Whatever really helps you open up through the back of the body. Next time you inhale, go ahead and bring your hands to your shins and flatten your back for a halfway lift. And you can exhale for a forward fold. Inhale to rise up and reach all the way up towards the sky for a high mountain pose. And exhale to hinge at the hips and reach forward towards your toes for a forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, flatten the spine. And exhale for a forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up for a high mountain pose. And exhale to fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale for a forward fold. Inhale to rise up and reach up for a high mountain. Maybe you even lean back a little bit if that feels good. And exhale to hinge at the hips and fold forward. Inhaling to come to 1 more halfway lift. And on the exhale, we're going to plant our palms and kick our feet behind us. So now we are in plank pose. Go ahead and take a breath here to hold your strong plank. And when you exhale, you can lower down halfway or all the way to take your chaturanga or your flow. Remembering to inhale when you come up for cobra or up dog, actively pushing yourself away from the mat. Go ahead and on the exhale, hinge your hips up and back, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Taking a couple breaths here to regain focus, regain our breath, our deep inhales and exhales through the nose. This next portion of practice is going to make you pretty warm, and you are going to be breathing pretty heavy. So if you are someone who likes to have a towel with you during a workout or some water next to you, go ahead and pause the video now and grab that stuff if you'd like. Cool. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale, kick our right leg straight back for a 3-legged dog. Remember that here you want to make sure that that lifted leg is engaged, that lifted foot is also flexed, almost like you're trying to stamp that wall behind you with your foot. And when you exhale, you can go ahead and step that foot in between the hands. And then inhale to rise up into high crescent lunge. Here you want to make sure that your belly button is pulling away from your t-shirt or towards your spine. Your knee is in line with your front foot and your arms are engaged here as well. And when you exhale, you're going to bring your left arm up and back behind you. And you're going to bring your right arm down and in front, coming into a high crescent lunge twist. Making sure that we're still tall in the spine and we're twisting with our core. And remember, we are still breathing deep through the nose, filling up through the belly, and letting it go long and slow through the nose as well. When you inhale, go ahead and come back to high crescent lunge. And when you exhale, go ahead and fan out, dial that back heel down, and come into a warrior two. So now we're sort of opening up the opposite direction, facing the other side of the room, making sure that the knee, again, is directly over the front foot, arms are engaged, and you're looking towards your front hand. So that should be your right hand on this side. Take a moment just to feel strong in this pose, really engage through that back leg. Notice where you feel tension and where you feel relaxation. And next time you exhale, you can go ahead and windmill your arms down to the mat. Come into your plank pose and then take your flow. Inhaling when you come into upward facing dog or cobra, and exhaling when you hinge your hips up and back to come back into downward facing dog. Moving on to the other side now, let's inhale, kick the left foot back, acting like you're going to stamp that back wall with your foot. Go ahead and exhale, swing that foot in between the hands, and inhale to rise up for a high crescent lunge. Again, making sure that the core is engaged, arms are engaged as well. And something I didn't mention last time, remember to really keep your shoulders away from your ears. This is something that a lot of people have trouble with in this pose, including me. So just take a moment to inhale. And when you exhale, you can bring that left hand up and back behind you. Bring that right hand in front, coming into a high crescent lunge twist. And again, we're using our core muscles to twist here. When you inhale, next time you can go ahead and come back up to high crescent lunge. And when you exhale, you can fan out your hands, dial your back heel down, and come into a warrior two. Looking towards the front of the room, that's in front of your left fingers, knees in trap, with the foot. Core is still engaged. Go ahead and take a deep breath through the nose. And a deep breath out the nose. Let's inhale one more time. And exhale, you can windmill your arms down to the mat, come into your plank pose and take your flow. Exhaling when you lower down to the mat, and inhaling when you push up and away. We can go ahead and meet back in downward facing dog. We're going to do this a couple more times on each side, and we're really going to be moving pretty quickly, linking our breath to our movement. I'm super excited. I know we can do it, so let's go ahead and get started, okay? Inhale, kick your right leg back. Exhale, step the right foot in between the hands. Inhale to rise up, high crescent lunge. Exhale, right arm comes back, high crescent lunge twist. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, go ahead and stay here. Exhale, windmill the arms, come into plank and lower down halfway or all the way. Inhaling for upward facing dog or cobra, and exhaling for downward facing dog. Other side now, inhale, kick the left leg back, and exhale to step that left foot in between the hands. Inhaling to rise up into a high crescent lunge, and exhaling to bring that left hand up and back and that right hand forward, coming into a high crescent lunge twist. Inhaling to come back to high crescent lunge, and exhaling to fan out to warrior two. Inhaling to stay for just a moment, and exhaling to windmill the arms down and taking our flow, exhaling on the way down and inhaling on the way up. Good. Exhaling to meet back in downward facing dog. Let's start on the right side again. Good job, everyone. Inhale, kick the right leg back. Exhale to step the right foot in between the hands. Inhale to rise up, high crescent lunge. Exhale, high crescent lunge twist. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, stay here. Exhale, windmill the arms, come into a plank and lower down halfway or all the way. Inhaling for cobra pose, taking your flow or up dog. And exhale to come back into downward facing dog. Awesome job, everyone. Moving on to the left side again. Go ahead and inhale, kick the left leg back. Exhale, step the left foot in between the hands. And inhale to rise up for a high crescent lunge. Exhale, coming into a high crescent lunge twist. Inhale, back to high crescent lunge. And exhale, coming into warrior two. Inhaling to pause for a moment. And exhaling to windmill the arms down, come into plank pose and take your flow. Meeting back in downward facing dog. And let's take a breath here. A deep inhale through the nose. And a deep exhale out the nose or the mouth. We're going to do this sequence one more time, just even a little bit faster. I know you're probably a little sweaty. I'm probably really sweaty right now too, but I know we can do it, and I know we're gonna knock this last part of the sequence out of the park. So let's get started. Go ahead and inhale, kick the right leg back. Exhale, right foot in between the hands. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Exhale, high lunge twist. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale to stay. Exhale, take your flow. Leaning back in downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot back. Exhale, left foot in between the hands. Inhale to rise up, high crescent lunge. Exhale, high crescent lunge twist. Inhale for high crescent lunge. Exhale, fanning out for warrior two. Inhaling to stay and exhaling to windmill the arms and take your flow. Remembering to inhale when you come into cobra pose or up dog, and exhaling when we come into downward facing dog. Awesome job, everyone. You did it. From here, we're going to inhale, look to the top of our mat. We're going to exhale, walk our feet to our hands, and we're going to scrunch up into a little tiny ball and roll onto our backs. So now we're on our backs, your knees are in your chest. You can go ahead and give yourself a big hug. And we're just going to bring our arms out to T or goalpost, whatever feels better for you. And you're just going to gently drop your knees to the right side for a super easy twist. If you're someone who doesn't like doing twists, you can go ahead and take an inversion instead by putting your legs straight up in the air or coming into bridge pose. Wherever you are, remember to breathe. Awesome. Go ahead and gently bring your knees back to center. And then you can go ahead and drop them to the left side if you're choosing to take the twist on the left side. If you did twist on the right side, I suggest twisting on the left as well, just so it's even. And for those of you who don't know a lot about twists, I know there's sort of this myth that it wrings out your toxins in your organs and things like that. That's not really true. However, it does help with circulation, and it helps to loosen up tense muscles around the spine as well. And these are all still really good benefits for the body, just not the benefits that you might have heard of previously. Go ahead and just take a couple more moments here. When you feel nice and ready, you can go ahead and bring your knees back to the center. And we're just going to find a comfortable way to lay down for our final resting place, our Shavasana. And remember, this is your time to let go during your practice, and this is your time to feel the effects that this practice has had on your mind and body. Awesome job with the sequence, everyone. Good job getting through it. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, it's just some little fun movement you can do in the middle of the day to really get your energy up, get your body moving. If you'd like to see something specific from me next time, you can let me know by putting it down in the comments or by DMing me. Also, liking and subscribing to my channel is a huge help because it really lets me know whether or not I'm helping people, what's working, what's not working, all that good stuff. So yeah, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!